Hello, my dudes, and welcome to Glarg's totally right, 100% authentic list review of why the lists aren't good because they aren't AdMech. This is going to be a general review and look over of the list of Alpha League to see what we have going. I'm not going to... I try not to do the lists in relation to the player. Mainly because I like to see the merits of a list by itself. And then if the player can make that list work, all the better. But that doesn't come into how the list actually is constructed, I don't think. Well, maybe it does. Maybe I'm just being pedantic. So let's just go straight ahead and look at Ambush's list. Straight up, first list we're going to look at. So he has Chaos Space Marines, of course. He's playing Night Lords for both... No, Night Lords, Iron Warriors... And that's it for both attachments, I think. Yeah, cool. So, the first Night Lord's attachment is a Chaos Lord's Jump Pack, Master of Executions, and 3 Cultists, and also Chaos Spawn Warp Talons. Presuming it's basically for the stratagem utility that Night Lords have, like the we have come for you so you can't retreat and stuff like that. It's really handy to have against a lot of matchups, especially stuff like Tau and... guard, stuff that relies on being able to fall back and shoot as well, like Ultramarines and like any Fly Eldar army. Works really well against them. So solid detachment overall. Cultists are there to be cheap and fill room. I don't know how great they are at surviving. Probably not very, but it doesn't matter because they're cheap. And then we have a Spearhead of Iron Warriors with many Obliterators and a Master Possessions. Basically, they're just to ignore cover and destroy things and just overall be a nuisance. Believe they have a stratagem, or maybe I think it might be a Warlord trait for exploding 6s for their weapons, or it's 6s, 6 Feel No Pain. They have both those things, and it's stratagem and a Warlord trait or a relic or something. So it's some combination of that. So that's why the Obliterators exist. Having a unit of 1, 2, and 3, I guess, is just protection against getting a unit wiped out. I mean, you could drop one Obliterator down if they want to Auspex scan that, they can. And then you can drop 2 down if they want to Auspex scan that, they can. And then you drop the third one down. And if they don't Auspex scan one of those, at least 3 Obliterators are going to be there. And that's best case scenario if they kill all 3. And Obliterators are just great. Yeah, they're just really good. And also having 3 units allows you to mess around with the rolls for their damage and AP and strength and stuff. So your unit of 3 might get a terrible AP and do nothing to a squad of Centurions, but then your squad of 2 might get max AP. So that's what I think is the reasoning behind that. Could be wrong. And then finally we have a an Iron Warriors detachment, I guess, with 2 Dark Disciples. Oh wait, what are Dark Disciples? I have no idea actually. Who knows? Chaos is weird. Ironman not on a disc, surprisingly. Demon Prince Zinch, Dark Apostle, and a Corn Lord of Skulls. So basically, your standard Lord of Skulls with the Dark Apostle for the buffing and the invulnerable. And then I guess Ironman and Demon Prince are just there to buff the Obliterators, but I could be wrong. I think they have a Heretic Astartes keyword. And, Demon Prince and Ironman are just good by themselves as well. So, overall, a solid list. And, I mean, having the Lord of Skulls there, this list threatens every stage in every range. So you have a melee threat that can lock you down and you can't escape. You have deep strike threats and the Obliterators that can just delete units if they want to. They have psychic powers. They have the ability to, if he needs to warp time something up, he can. I don't think he would. But he's got a Chaos Lord Jump Pack, actually, 2 Lightning Claws. Could just throw that into a unit of Intercessors and just obliterate them, I guess. But he has a lot of threats in melee as well, with the Demon Prince and stuff. And then he has the Lord of Skulls for the long-range shooting and also just a massive body on the board. It's actually quite reminiscent of old Imperial Knight soup you would see. Like, you'd see one big Imperial Knight, and then, you know, an AdMech detachment to hold area and for the small buffs it would give, and then you'd have like a Blood Angels detachment to go and punch people in the face or something like that. It's quite reminiscent of that. It's just the Chaos version, I guess. So yeah, cool list. Ambush is a good player as well, so obviously he's going to do good. Magic, pretty sure he's still playing its Astral Claws, and he is. So basically Ultramarine successor with special characters. This guy, Huron, is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. We'll go over the entire thing first. So it's an Ultramarine successor, Master Artisan, Stealthy, but he also gets to choose them to be Astral Claws, so he gets access to special characters. He has taken Hector Rex, which is brilliant choice, really. Hector Rex is just so versatile, and he can slot into any Imperial army so easily. He's just a great pick, and he's really tanky as well. He's toughness 3, or 4. He's one of those. I think he's toughness 3, and he has a Storm Shield and a 2-up save. And people throw units into him thinking, oh, he's going to die quite easily, and then he'll just live. He's crazy good. Chaplain, Litany of Faith. I'm presuming he just hasn't chosen his litany there, because Litany of Faith is the 5-up Feel No Pain to Mortal Wounds. Probably be something else. Probably be Recitation of Focus or Catches Him Afar, I think. Huron is dumb. He is a Chapter Master, I believe, with full rerolls, I think. But he has a targeted D6 Mortal Wounds ability. I think it's anywhere on the board you can target a unit and it does D6 Mortal Wounds or something like that. It's really, really strong. It's just, if you leave something on like 4 or 5 wounds and you just need to delete it, you just activate this ability once per game and it's gone. And you don't need to worry about putting another unit into it to kill it. You can just say, this guy is going to do this. So really strong. Lieutenant for the reroll ones, probably, mostly. And then we have many, we have got 2 infiltrate squads, which are they just shut down entire phases of the game for some armies. And 3 intercessor squads, all with just bolt rifles and thunder hammers. And auxiliary grenade launchers, which is still nice to see them, I think. So the thunder hammer, bolt rifle intercessor squads are getting really popular now because of the changes to how doctrines work. You're always going to be in tactical doctrine at some point, and this army wants to be in tactical doctrine. And you're always also going to be in assault doctrine at some time. So you may as well give the sergeants thunder hammers, because eventually they're going to be useful when you need to charge them in. And even if you don't get to charge them in, they're a massive deterrent for deep strike armies. Because if they have to come up against us intercessor squad with thunder hammer, they're more likely to use a lot of those key units. So intercessors with thunder hammers, going to be seeing a lot of them, I think. Aggressors, I mean, it's Ultramarines. Aggressors are amazing. You can redeploy them and then double shoot them for the entire game, I think, because you could just spend the stratagem and the warlord trait to make them act in tactical doctrine. It's really good. Really dumb. Company champion, I presume that's just there for a melee threat. I think I heard him talking about this, and it's a melee threat that he can have on the board. If he needs it to punch people, it can, but otherwise it just holds objectives and you can't target it. So it's really good. Relic Contemptor, so 2 twin las cannons, long range anti-tank threat. He can make it act as if it's not moved, so it has no penalty for moving and firing. And he can redeploy at the start of the game to basically range anything on the map, unless you maybe get a hammer and anvil, and you might squeeze a tank in at the back. So it's really good. 3 special squads. These won't get the benefit for Devastator Doctrine, so they'll still be AP -2. But honestly, who cares? They're Ultramarines, so they act as if they didn't move. They don't have the minus hit, so they'll be hitting on 3s. Strength 7, AP -2, 2 damage. For 90 points, who cares? It's a brilliant unit, especially for Ultramarines. And then 2 Eliminator squads, just for the utility of killing characters and holding points and being in cover. And then a Thunderfire Cannon, which is a Thunderfire Cannon. It is what it is. So again, I think I played something like this, or this exact list, last season, and it's super strong. Just the amount of bodies he actually has to go on the board. It's hard to chew through all that, like, Primaris bodies. And with his ability to snipe things off, kill tanks, and just mow down infantry. It's really strong. One thing I will say, I don't think he's got enough anti-tank. The suppressors are good anti-tank, but if they're not effective in the turn they come in, they can often die and then they're useless. The Contemptor's brilliant anti-tank, but it's targetable. So if you don't get first turn, it can just die and then you've got nothing else. And then he's obviously still got all the Thunderhammers and then the Power Fists on the aggressors. But it is rough if you lose your anti-tank in turn 1 for this list, I think. And there's a lot of mech lists going about in this that I've had a look at. So yeah, good list, good player. A new bite? One of those. He is playing Thousand Suns. Let's see. Oh, it looks like Knights. Chaos Knights. So this is a thing I've seen come up quite a lot recently, is a lot more people seem to be bringing mech lists because they think, they rightly think that Imperial Fists aren't as popular anymore. So Imperial Fist, you just shut down mech lists, you instantly lose. So now you're seeing a bit of a comeback, so it's kind of nice to see these mech lists come back. So we have a Cult of Mutation, don't know what that is. Thousand Suns are weird, and the PA book, I kind of skimmed over it. With Araman, not on a disc again. I don't know, I think that's weird. I always put Araman on a disc if I was doing Thousand Suns. The mobility is just better, I think. And like, you can warp time. You don't have to spend a warp time on Araman to get him close to stuff. I don't know. That's my thought anyway. Demon Prince's Inch, with some things here. Some things that, who knows? Who knows what they are? It's Thousand Suns again. I'm presuming they're good. An Exalt Sorcerer with Boon Mutation, yeah, all that good stuff as well. Yeah, and then Rubric Marines. Who would have thought we'd see Rubric Marines come back? Yeah, three squads of Rubric Marines, and then a Knight Despoiler with Twin Avenger, a Knight Despoiler with Twin Thermal, and a Knight Rampager. Which Rampager is this? It's Power Fist and Chainsword. Is it? Wow. That is interesting, to say the least. So he's got 2 shooty ones and a punchy one. Not sure about this. It seems like it's weird in that he has the 3 knights, but there's nothing much to support them. I mean, you've got the Rubric Marines, but the Rubric Marines die like normal Marines, or slightly better than normal Marines, I should say. But they die just the same, and then his board presence is entirely based on 3 characters, 3 knights. And it's not like Chaos Knights are difficult to kill, really. They're not the best at their tankiness, and there's a lot of melee builds going around now, and they just crumble to melee. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how this does. It's like 3 characters, 3 squads, and then 3 knights. So it's a low drop list. Yeah, I'd have to see how it goes. But yeah, interesting. Next one is Apostle of Ruin, who's playing Raven Guard, Cadian, and Styges. So an Imperium soup list, if you will. Okay, so Hungry for Battle, Long Range Marksman, so +3 range, and then +1 to charge, I think that is? I think so. So the Captain, Jump Pack, Stormfield, Thunderhammer, Chaplain, presume that he'll change the litanies again, probably the +2 to charge litany, I'd think. You'd have to... Is that litany, or is it... I think it is, +2 to charge, and then +3 inches consolidation or pile-in. And you'd have to make sure that you're being careful, because the +1 to charge for Hungry for Battle, if that's the right thing I'm thinking of, it doesn't actually stack with the Chaplain's +2 to charge. But that's what I think he'd use it for. And then he has Intercessor, 9 of them with Thunderhammer, Autobolt Rifle, really good again. 2 Scout Squads, Aggressors, so yeah, Master of Ambush the Aggressors. Actually, yeah, he'd probably take Master of Ambush from the Captain, I think. Or, no wait, the Chaplain does it, gives him +2 to charge. Yeah, that's how it works. I always forget. So the Aggressors for Master of Ambush, and then Centurions for Deep Strike, I'm presuming. Because Centurions are good with Raven Guard. Next up, he has Cadian Detachment with Company Commander, Tank Commander, 3 Tempestus Scions, which is interesting. Expensive. For what they do, really. I don't know, probably better just taking guard. 2 Astropaths, Manticore. Again, weird 2 Astropaths when you're not taking something that needs to be... I guess you could... On the Tank Commander, he could put his buffs, but still. It's for only 15 points, I guess. Who cares? Manticore for being a Manticore, just generally being good if you give it the buffs. And then a Styges detachment of 2 Engineers, 3 Rangers, and 3 amazing Disintegrators. These things are too good for their points, I think, anyway. And if you're playing Imperium Soup and you're taking a Styges, or it's taking an Admech detachment of any kind, I think it's always good to take 3 Disintegrators. Just because the amount of gun they have is crazy for their points. And their out of line of sight ability is really good. So, I would just if you're doing a Styges attachment, make the room for 3 of these. And they move 12 as well, with no penalty for moving and firing. I think they actually, for their utility, would be better than taking equal points of Basilisks. I could be wrong with that. I could just be a bit biased there, but I think so. And 2 damage guns is really good right now, even if it's just AP-1. So yeah, pretty good list. I get the Raven Guard bit. I don't really get the Admech bit. Really, I don't get that at all, actually. Could be... yeah, it's weird, actually. Because he hasn't put down that he's... Oh, no, he's Emperor's First Tank Company. So he's definitely going to be taking the Relic gun on the Tank Commander. But then he hasn't really got anything else apart from the Manticore. Yeah, weird one. Is this triple battalion as well? Is that right? So he's gonna have a lot of CP as well. Yeah, could work. Interesting. Let's go on to Arover, who is playing Eldari Soup. So we have, and this is seems like a list that I can get behind because he anticipated people go more mech, I think, and I totally agree with his assertions here. So Troopmaster, good HQ for what it does, really, and then Skyweaver's out the ass to kill all those damn tanks, and yeah, just Haywire is so good right now. And then a Custom Craft World with Strike and Fade, which I can't remember what it is, but I'm sure it's something to do with fall back and charge again, or fall back and shoot, or something like that. He gets 2 abilities, doesn't he? Huh. No idea what it is. Farseer Skyrunner, Warlock Skyrunner, basically so they can come up the board with the spears and put all their debuffs on something that needs to die. Good abilities, good synergy with spears. Shining Spears are just good right now. Skilled Rider, that's +1 to charge, I believe. I think the meta choice right now is Seekers of Ancient Knowledge or Relics or something like that, so they get +1 attack when on an objective, and you basically just throw them at your enemy's objective, and they have 1 billion attacks, and then they have to try and force them off that objective. Meanwhile, you have in another detachment, as we see here, which has Extra Crafter and Masterful Shot, so ignore cover and reroll 1 hit wound damage, I think, whatever it is. You have your alt art for your reroll 1s, and then you have your 3 Falcons, 3 Night Spinners for all that long range anti-tank and out of line of sight artillery. And that's how you back up these Shining Spears. So this is a pretty typical army setup here. Maybe with more Shining Spears and some other Crimson Hunters or something. But then I think adding in this Skyweaver detachment is a lot better than having Flyers. Flyers are prone to just not doing well in some matchups, and sometimes, like, if you get second turn, they can just die and then they're useless. Whereas the Skyweavers, you can hide them, they can come out, they can zap down something bad. So I like this a lot more compared to having like fire prisms or flyers or anything like that. I like this a lot better. So yeah, good list. And it's only 618 points for that, so not bad at all. Azrael is playing Deathwatch. Interesting. This is a faction that I've always wanted to kind of play and be good at. Because I feel like it has a lot of tools to be good. But, yeah. Let's see how he does. So, he's got the Watchmaster. And then Veterans out the ass. And the Veterans are... Oh, Deathwatch Storm Cannons. Interesting. Storm Shields out the ass, so they're going to be super hard to shift. All these are going to be so hard to shift, actually. Christ. Watch Captain, Watchmaster, and then more Veterans. Basically, just Veterans everywhere. Missile launchers, and more Storm Shields. Jesus. Yeah. Just pile on those Storm Shields, mate. I'm just having a look and see what those Crafting Craftwork World attributes were. But I'm dumb and can't find it. Yeah. So let's just ignore that for just now. Yeah, infantry spam. Just doesn't seem like he's got a lot of answer to melee though. Like, I'm wondering how this list would do against Blood Angels or Gene Stealers or anything that could ignore Overwatch, really. He hasn't really got anything with a lot of fight back. I mean, Deathwatch in general quite good at fighting back, but with the lethality and the tools that a lot of melee armies have nowadays, it's a lot harder for will be a lot harder for him to come back, I think. Oh, he's got covered power malls, I guess, but still gonna be difficult. Back to Bobby. Just have a little drink. Sip. Okay, this is where we get into orcs, I guess. Without even reading this list, I can tell it's going to be the typical orcs, triple or double battalion? Yeah, double battalion, shock attack guns, yeah, I can see it from here. So, 90 boys, straight up. Big Mech Custom Force Field, War Boss, for first battalion. So that's straight up, 5 CP, that's your battalion for 800 points. Easy. I think I like Shooter Boys more. That's just personal preference, though, I think. Yeah. Bad Moons. With 2 Weird Boys to jump on Warpath. Pretty simple. Because I think with Shooter Boys, with Warpath, you don't really need Slugger and Chopper, because that's 5 attacks per boy. So you're looking at, like, after you've taken Overwatch, maybe, like, how many would die in Overwatch? Like 5, 10 max? 10 max. So 5 attacks times 20 is many. It's like 100 attacks, hitting on 3s. So I think you're fine with having 80 attacks. But that is just my opinion. And he's also got the boss knobs with power claws in there, which are always good. Yeah, so 2 Weird Boys, and then 3 Gretchen. 2 times 30 and 1 times 10. They're Gretchen. They're there to absorb damage and also to lock down area. Having this many is better than having 3 groups of 10, because it's easy to kill 3 groups of 10 and basically wipe out anything you have to Grot Shield, and it's a lot harder to kill 70 Gretchen in a turn and then also kill the characters before they can get into somewhere safe. So that's a lot better. Tank Busters, they're Tank Busters, but they're Bad Moons. Yeah, I mean, they're Tank Busters. They're gonna drop in and kill something, basically. They're really good. And the 5 bomb squibs he uses as ablative wounds, which are great. So if you Auspex, you kill 5 bomb squigs. Cool. Who cares? And then Death Skulls for the Death Skulls detachment, obviously. So you've got the shock attack gun with souped up shotgun, normal shock attack gun. 3 more groups of Gretchen, and then 6 smasher guns. Smasher guns are crazy good. Shock attack guns are stupidly good. And then more Gretchen to wrap and hold down area. Can't really argue with any of this. One thing I would say is I would find more room for another shock attack gun. 80 points isn't that hard to find in this list, I don't think. Heck, you could even drop those 2 Gretchen squads down to 20 mans, and then cut another like 10 points somewhere. These runt herds, I don't know. I don't get these. But yeah, cut the runt herds, and you have another shock attack gun basically. And shock attack guns are so good. Yeah, so good list, typical orc list really. I think we'll probably be seeing a few of these. Bedak. Oh look, more chaos. Chaos is going to be super popular. Yeah. So we have Chaos Space Marines running Alpha Legion, which is always popular because of all the minuses and the crazy stuff they can do with the modifiers. Chaos Lord and Terminator armor. Strange choice. Dark Apostle, obviously. Dark Apostle so good. Sorcerer, also good. And then 3 groups normal Chaos Space Marines with autocannon on each, which is strange because the autocannon, I don't understand what its point is. To me, an autocannon is basically you have to have a lot of them to do anything. Because these guys, can they have a Reaper chain cannon? I don't know. Maybe that might just be Havoc's. But I would probably, if this is for anti-tank, which I presume it probably should be, I would just give it a las cannon. I know it's more expensive, but you can cut stuff somewhere else. And 3 las cannons are going to be better than 3 autocannons. Actually, anything might be better than 3 autocannons. 3 missile launchers might be. Rubik Marines, a big old blob of Rubiks, probably to use with those new stratagems that came out. Yeah, Rubiks are fucking good now. And a Levy Dread with 2 Butcher arrays. Butcher's arrays used to be used a lot back in the olden days, before Primaris, before the whole Space Marines came out. Actually, I think it was before that even. I think Butcher cannons stopped being so popular when Horde started first coming out. But, could be wrong there. Let's have a look. I can't even remember. This is my best way to just go and look up things that I don't know what they are. I just do Wikipedia. And I have a look. Heavy 8. Yeah, so 8 minus 1, 2 damage. Presume this is to kill Primaris. Kill all those pesky Primaris people that have popped up. Because 2 damage minus 1 isn't the greatest, but it's strength 8, so you're wounding on 2s. 4 up save. Yeah, you're going to do some damage. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Mark and Nurgle. I don't really get the mark system. I'm not really good at chaos, you can probably tell. But this is why this is a really bad review. Next one is a 1000 Suns attachment with armor on a disc. I told you, it's the way to go. Demon Prince's Inch. With all these nice psychic powers. 3 groups cultists with autoguns and a heavy stubber in each, which is strange. Because I would just keep the cultists as cheap as possible. And then 2 Zangor Shamans. For some reason. With no Zangors. That's interesting. I wonder... I mean, they're characters, I guess. Maybe he's just trying to... But he hasn't even got that many things on the field. He's got, what, 10, 20, 30 cultists, and then 15 Chaos Space Marines. And then everything else is a character. Weird. On the Levy Dread, I guess. That's 45 wounds, basically, plus the 14, so like 59 wounds to kill before you can kill the characters. But then some armies can do that in a turn or two, and then all your characters are free game, basically. Interesting to see how this works out. And then he's got a Changeling and 3 Exalted Flamers. I don't like the Exalted Flamers. They're 50 points is not good for them, I don't think. They're just not great. Just not great. Characters, I guess. That's the thing. Character keyword's so strong these days. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how this list works. Oh, yeah, and then you've got Rubik Marines. Holy fuck, I forgot about them. Yeah. This probably be fine, actually, for screening. onto Blood Moon. I believe he's still running the triple corn. Yeah. Look, 3 Lord of Skulls, and then a Night Lord's attachment to lock you down in melee and turn off your auras. Okay, that's basically the army. It's real good. Bloomin' Onion is running. Oh my god, this is gonna happen every time I open a Chaos army, isn't it? 2 Lord of Skulls. Not why he's got them in super heavy auxiliaries. Well, if you're taking 2, you may as well take 3. Because you cut out the Sorcerer and you cut out Greater Possessed and the Contemptors. You can take another Lord of Skulls, and it's probably better than all these things put together. Because it has so much support with stratagems and 4-up invuln and +1 hit from the Lord of Scorn, and it's better than having a C-beam cannon and Claw Dreadnought. The Raptor's probably fine to stay, I think. I'm guessing. Raptors, what would they be used for? Because Iron Warriors, Raptors, I'm not sure if there's any synergy there. It's a weird one. I probably would have done, I mean, what Blood Moon has is probably the most quote-unquote optimal way to run this list. If you're running 2 Lord of Skulls, some armies can kill 2 Lord of Skulls in a turn. And some armies can survive 2 Lord of Skulls for a turn. So having 2 is on that verge of, do I have enough gun? And having 3 is past the point. So it's always better to be past the point and know you have enough. Because if you go second, he kills a Lord of Skulls, you have 1 left. And you've lost 430 points. So you're down to 1600 points. And you've only got 1 long-range threat left. Except for maybe your Contemptors, but they've got a single C-beam. It's not going to do much. And at that point, you start to worry that, oh, I don't have enough damage to like inflict any lasting casualties. Because with 1 Lord of Skulls, you might not even have enough damage to stop him killing your next Lord of Skulls. And then you're down 2 Lord of Skulls for the entire game. So yeah, that's something to think about. Definitely. Buttons. Let's see here. Farsight. So it looks like Commander spam. Yep, so we've got an Enforcer and a Cold Star. 3 Cyclic Ions on the Enforcer. 3 Missile Pods on the Cold Star. That's strange, actually. Not strange, but it's interesting. And then it's the same for each detachment. Oh no, this Cold Star's got Fusion. And then, yeah, same for the other things. And then Breachers, Drones, and then Stealths. Interesting. And then, yeah, the Crisis Bodyguards, 2 Cyclics each. I actually think ATS and 2 Cyclics better than 3 Cyclic. I think. Could be wrong there, but I think that's the way to do it. How many drones does he have? 8. 8 plus 15? Is that it? 23 drones? This seems like something that will just evaporate. 23 drones. I think if you're trying to run Tau, you need to have... And if you're trying to run Tau and you're trying to protect something like this crisis bomb, obviously this deep strikes in. Yeah. So you have this deep strike in and delete something on whatever turn it comes in. If it has the range, the visibility, and everything, if everything goes your way, it just deletes 1 or 2 things. It's good. But the problem comes when you have 23 drones to last you the whole game, and Tau really survives by its survivability of being able to go to turn 5 and 6 with a lot of its stuff still on the board. And I think having 23 drones isn't enough to do that. If you have 23 drones and you only have 3 breacher teams there and some stealth battlesuits, how do you guarantee your commanders are alive? It's not that many wounds to go through. 23 drones is pretty hard to put down, I'll grant you that, but when these drones are... Because I'm presuming these 8 drones are going to drop the crisis bodysuits, and these 15 are going to be on the board. 15 drones isn't hard to kill in 1 turn. Not by a long shot. It's doable for a lot of armies. the problem with Tau for a lot of armies comes in when you're trying to kill 40 drones in a turn. That's when you start to get the major problems. Or you're trying to kill 40 drones over the course of an entire game. You struggle to do that with some armies. But 15 drones in a turn, achievable by most armies. And if it's a melee army with a high attack count as well, it's just going to chew through these drones. So the Crisis Bomb, I don't think is better than Triptide, and that might be an unpopular opinion, but I think Triptide does so well for Tau because you last the entire game, and I think this Crisis Bomb is like, okay, I drop this in turn 2 or turn 3 and I delete 2 of your things, and then I lose the Crisis Bodyguards, or they die to a point where they can't do anything anymore. Like, enough of them die where they become functionally useless. So I don't think this is... It's kind of like sacrificing your commanders with 4 fusion blasters to kill something. Like, people used to do that, and Siegler always said it was stupid. Your commanders are a valuable resource you should keep to the end. I think it's the same with Riptides and the entire Tau rosters. You should be trying to keep everything that does damage until the end of the game. Whereas this Crisis Bomb is like, okay, I'm going to kill 2 things and you can kill this. It's a trade mechanic, kind of, in my opinion. But yeah, interesting list. I think it's pretty good. Probably just to end up deleting some people. Necrons. Annihilation Barges. Interesting. I've seen a lot of people take these Annihilation Barges, actually, because they are cheap as chips, and they have a decent amount of DACA for what they do, which is good. Overlord with Veil of Darkness, what's the teleport, I believe. 5 destroyers for being destroyers. Get Veil of Darkness into a place where they can go and destroy something and hope they don't die. And then you have a Lord, Hyperlogical Strategist. I think that's the CP regen. Could be wrong. Tomb Blades. I think if you want to run Tomb Blades, you need more than that. That's what, 8, 9 maybe. 8 or 9 Tomb Blades isn't really enough. They can die pretty easily. Really easily, actually. And then this is where the entire list comes in, actually. It's the 3 Doomsday Arcs and the 3 Tesseract Arcs. So these Tesseract Arcs are what is keeping Necrons afloat right now, I think. Because they have an invuln and they have quantum shielding. So they're incredibly difficult to shift. And they have decent guns. So, and I think they move without any penalty for heavy weapons as well. Could be wrong about that. But yeah, this bunch here is what keeps Necrons afloat right now. But yeah, interesting. And destroyers. But yeah, interesting Necron list. Next up, Cement. And we're looking at Sisters of Battle with Canoness, Missionary, and a Midgifer, Sisters Repentias. So Repentias are nuts in melee. I've seen them one-shot Gilliman. I've seen a single Repentia kill... What was it again? It was an Impulsor. A single Repentia. I don't know how it did it. It didn't have an invuln, to be fair. But it did manage to kill an Impulsor all by itself. So, really good. Zephyrim. Good for killing things. Just drop it in. Power Swords are a good choice on them. Seraphim, again, just dropping in, killing things. Infernal Pistols are really good. And I think Bloody Roses ignore AP1. Is it? I can't remember. Sorry, excuse me. So with the Imgifer, you're ignoring AP2, if that's the right thing I'm thinking about. Might not be. Oh no, that's Valorous Heart. So they're just ignoring AP1, I think. And then Valorous Heart ignore AP1 natively, I think. So we have an Inquisitor here. Just a standard Inquisitor as well, which is fine because it's cheap. 55 points for one Inquisitor does for you is really good. 2 Canonesses and Celestine. Everyone takes Celestine. Brilliant character. Very well pointed as well. Ooh, a lot of Battle Sister squads. Actually, is this a brigade? Oh my god, it is. A brigade and a battalion. Oh, a vanguard. That's very, very interesting. This guy must... Why? Why this, though? If anyone has any idea why this, please tell me, because I don't really get it. Why a brigade and a vanguard? Because you're not gaining... You're getting 1 CP that you then spend on the cannonness. It's a weird one. 3 sister squads, all with Stormbolter on 2 of them, which is interesting. Don't know why. Extra shots, I guess. Dialogus, Imager, so yeah, Tail of Stoic is the, our AP2 for everything here. And then Dominion, all the Stormbolters, and then 3 Exorcists. So it's just very, very smart. Ignore AP2, the most common way to kill infantry, and then just throw loads of infantry on the board. It's just a smart way to play the game. And the Exorcists, I've always thought that maybe if you're playing Imperium Soup, you should start taking Vanguard of... Is it Vanguard? No, Spearhead. A Spearhead of Exorcists, because they are probably one of the best anti-tank Imperium for the price in the game, and they have a stratagem to ignore all hit modifiers, so why not? With the amount of flyers we're going to be seeing, why not? Cheesy Breezy, looks like Tau. Yeah, it is Tau. Commander, oh my god, look, we have, oh my god, we have the 8, which is, holy god, this is actually really smart. So he's got the 8, because they have a bunch of characters, and it's a bunch of battle suits. And then he has Farsight Enclave, so we can take even more suits. Wow, this is it's pretty cool, actually. So, I can't remember how many, you get a broadside, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 normal battle suits, I think. And then he has 8, 9, 10, 11, like 11 total character battle suits, which is just crazy. And then he's got like, I don't know what, 8 drones. It's not a lot of drones, but the drones probably aren't going to be there to actually shield things. They're going to be there to go and hold objectives and score recon and stuff like that. Score what's King of the Hills? Yeah. And then the Breachers are there just for command points, I guess. Yeah, it's actually really funny, this list. It's a lot of commanders. A lot of commanders. A lot of character battle suits with semi-decent guns and good saves. Interesting to see that. Really interesting. Created new. Oh, look, some Necrons. So we've got 3 Doom Scythes for the Doom Scythe Bomb, and then we have Cryptek, Imhotech, Immortals. So Imhotech's there for his Mortal Wound ability as well. And then we have 5 Destroyers, 3 Doomsday Arcs, and then some Wraiths. Yeah, it's a... Why this, though? See, I don't get this. Oh, it's because he doesn't have a battalion. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Oh, he does have a battalion. Why didn't he just put that in there? Can he not? Can you not put... Is it not 3 fast attacks you get for a battalion? Weird. Oh, it's because it's a different dynasty. But there's something with auxiliary detachments that you don't get access to the stratagems, or you don't get access to the ability of the dynasty or whatever, the subculture. So I can't remember which one it is, but it'd be interesting to see if he's using this for the stratagem or for the ability, and if he's locked out of either. I don't know. But yeah, standard Necron Doom Scythe Bomb with some Doomsday Arcs and some what are they called? Destroyers. I mean, it's pretty standard. It really punishes people who play in castles, and that's quite a lot of people right now. So yeah, standard list. This one, Curie, Dark Angels, Chaplain, Librarian, Scouts, Ancient, Knights. And then we're going to be seeing Talonmaster, Samuel and Sableclaw, more Scouts, Apothecary, and then Black Knights. This is pretty standard Dark Angels list right now. Wait, where's his bikers? Yeah, it's the Deathwing Knights. Oh no, it's the... Which one's the Plastic Guys? It's not the Deathwing Knights, it's the Black Knights. Is that right? Yes. Possibly. Yeah, so the Plasmas are really good because of, you know, Dark Angels, weapons from the Dark Age and stuff like that, and you can keep them on the board, you can keep the Talonmasters all together so they ignore penalties from moving and firing heavy weapons, reroll ones to wound. Samuel's Chapter Master, question mark, I think so. And then Scouts are just to absorb damage. One problem I have with this list is I played Blood Moon and he had a very similar list to this, and by the bottom of turn 2, my turn 2, I went first, he had the Apothecary, and that was the only thing on the board. And then he dropped in the Knights, the melee Knights, and by that point he had to play the perfect game to win. And that's my problem with Dark Angels, is that if things start to go wrong, it's very hard to get it back, because you fail a charge, like it's a 6-inch charge on the Knights with the stratagem to deep strike 6 inches. If that goes wrong, that can ruin the game. If they have infiltrators, that can ruin the game. There's a lot of things that can fuck up here. The Knights need to get in melee, and then you need to have your bikers not dead, because your bikers are your main source of anti-tank damage until the Knights come in. So if the bikers die, then there's nothing you can do. Basically, it's rough. Dark Angels are a funny army where they didn't even get to try out their Doctrine ability even that much, which is a shame. I think they deserve better, and they could probably be in Tactical Doctrine for their ability. How many are we at? 16 lists looked at. So I'm going to take a brief break now, since we're up to the C's, and our next list is going to be, look at this, Forge World Lucius and House Tyrannus. So we're getting into the Admech now, which is so good. The Admech and Knights. I have actually decided to upload this as part 1, just because, I looked at the timer, it's 48 minutes, which means it's going to take a hell of a long time to encode if I make it a big long video. So this is going to be part 1. I will be recording part 2 immediately, but because of encoding and uploading to YouTube, it might take a little bit longer for that to appear. It might be a couple of hours extra that takes to appear on YouTube. But this is going to be part 1. Part 2 is coming up next. Thank you very much for watching so far. And if I've said anything bad about your list, don't take it to heart. It's just nothing personal. I'm just my honest opinion on what I'm seeing. And I'll be honest, guys. I'm totally wrong about everything. I'm a fraudster and an incorrect asshole. So don't take anything I say to heart, and consume a bucket of salt every time you hear any word pass my lips. So, yeah, I'll catch you guys in part 2.